I'm James Bruce, you're watching MakeUseOf.com reviews, and this is the Airtame 2, a combined media streaming and digital signage solution designed for corporate, educational and other enterprise class networks where security and ease of use is a high priority. So briefly, as the name suggests, the Airtame 2 is an upgraded version of the original Airtame. They've taken a lot of the feedback on board, both in terms of design and software features, and then they've beefed up the internal specifications. So inside you'll find a dual-core ARM Cortex-A9 CPU, 2 GB of RAM, a Vivante GC2000 GPU, and a high-performance Wi-Fi chip capable of up to AC speeds utilizing 2 MIMO channels, all of which results in an upgraded, more reliable video streaming capability of 1080p at 60 frames a second, and with the stated Wi-Fi range of around 20 meters. In addition, the upgraded internals mean that it can now display more complex websites for your digital signage. So if it was struggling before on highly dynamic sites that used a lot of intensive JavaScript, for instance, this should be able to handle it a lot better. So let's start with installation. The puck-shaped Airtame has a magnetic coin on the back of it, meaning that this can be placed directly onto the back of most TVs, and it'll stay there securely. However, if you don't have a metal plate on the back of your TV, or if you're mounting it somewhere else, such as with a projector, then you can peel off this red tape, and this is a permanent adhesive underneath here. So you then stick the metal coin wherever you want it, and the Airtame itself will then stick magnetically onto that. So you can still remove it when you need to. Then you have a combined power and HDMI cable, which goes into one USB-C port on the device. This also has some permanent adhesive on the back if you need it. Now, although this is a standard USB-A plug, you absolutely should not plug this into your TV. Even if it has USB ports, so you think you can power it directly, you can't. The amount of power that it's going to draw does require the included adapter, which puts out 2.4 amps. Your average TV only provides 0.5 to 1 amp of power, so please don't plug it in there, you will damage your TV. Although not available out of the box, there is also a Power over Ethernet or PoE adapter soon to be launched. This will enable you to both power and provide an Ethernet network to the device using a small adapter, useful in places where you don't necessarily have a power socket to plug it into. In addition, there is of course a plain old Ethernet adapter if you'd rather be running this over a wired network rather than Wi-Fi. So what does the Airtame 2 actually do, and what is it that makes it appropriate for enterprise class networks? Airtame offers two main features. The first is that it's an incredibly simple to use and reliable streaming output device. Just plug this into your TV, monitor or projector, and it'll then display everything that the user needs to know in order to transmit to this. Now, this is incredibly useful in a corporate environment, and you have, say, a meeting room where not everyone is going to be fully versed in how to use whatever system it is that you've got set up. The instructions are all contained on this device itself. For Mac and iOS users, it acts as a reliable AirPlay output device. Now, this does require more network bandwidth generally, but it is the easiest option to connect, and I found that reliable. The other option is to download a small piece of software for either Windows, Mac, or Linux, which then gives you a one-click broadcast option to the Airtame device. You can either send your entire desktop or you can choose a particular window. It's all as you'd expect, it's very easy to use and it's very reliable. In addition, the device itself broadcasts its own ad hoc network, and optionally you can configure that to forward on your internet connection. Additionally, when the device isn't being used to stream a desktop or a presentation, you can set it up with your own digital signage. So for a start, you can completely customize the message that's displayed. If you wanted that in your corporate lobby, for instance, you could welcome people into your company. Or you can hide the message entirely and just have it display whatever you've set up. So on top of the basic display a custom picture, of course, you've also got the option to display a public URL from the internet. So if you have something like a KPI or key performance dashboard, then you can display that straight on here on whatever device it is in your lobby. The only caveat here is that it has to be a publicly accessible URL. So if the service you're using requires you to log in and you can't publish that dashboard publicly, then you won't be able to use it. Still, in most cases, that won't be a problem. Your other option is the newly launched cloud apps. Now, there's only a limited number available at the moment, including a world clock, Unsplash, which is an image service, Google Slides, and Trello, which is a task management app if you're not familiar with it. So unlike the plain publicly accessible URL option, these cloud apps allow you to access content that's authenticated, although, as I said, at the moment, it's a pretty limited list of apps you can use. But I fully expect more to be added in time. Now, the Airtame cloud service itself is free to use at the moment. However, Airtame have said that when the service comes out of testing, it will be a paid subscription service, though there are no details on pricing yet, but that's something to bear in mind. As well as allowing you to set up those authenticated web apps, Airtame Cloud also allows you to remotely manage all of your Airtame devices from anywhere in the world. Now, normally you would need to be on the same network as the Airtame devices in order to change their settings, obviously. However, using Airtame Cloud, you can do that from at home, from anywhere in the world. And it just makes it really easy to deploy settings to all of your company devices at the same time. Now, obviously, the Airtame Cloud service is going to be more useful for you if you have more devices spread out across multiple locations. So finally, let's talk about security, because this is one of the main factors to choose the Airtame 2 over other devices. Airtame 2 is one of the few streaming media devices on the market that works out of the box with WPA2 enterprise class Wi-Fi security. If you are running that kind of security, it basically locks you out of a lot of devices simply because they aren't compatible. And it's probably worth throwing out there at this point that there was in fact a recent hack on Chromecast. It was fairly non-destructive, but the hackers changed the Chromecast display to encourage people to subscribe to PewDiePie's YouTube channel. So this isn't just a theoretical hack, it's something that very much could happen. Another cool security feature is that you can enable a PIN code before streaming is allowed. So what this means is that you would have to be physically in the room with the device itself or able to see the screen before you could actually stream to it. And it's not just software security either. For the Airtame 2 model, they took on user feedback and added a Kensington lock slot. And this enables you to physically lock the device to wherever it's attached. So that's the Airtame 2. You can grab yours now from airtame.com, and I'd absolutely recommend it if you have need of multiple streaming devices, digital signage solutions in a corporate environment where you need them to be all centrally managed and entirely secure. As I said, if you're a home user, I'm going to be completely blunt and say this is not the device for you. It is pretty expensive, and there are much cheaper solutions to use in and around the home. Anyway, thanks for watching this review. I hope this has helped you to make an informed purchasing decision about this Airtame 2 device. And if it has, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. Alternatively, head on over to airtame.com where you can find out more, or click on the link in the description to read my full review. Thanks for watching, and until next time.